So would you just start off and tell me how three guys in college were out inspecting farms and fields and woke up one day and said, hey, I got an idea. So share with us a little bit how the Grama started.
So yeah, absolutely. So we are three co-founders. So Janos, Diego, and me. So after graduating from college, just almost the day after graduation, I got an interview at a Dutch certifier who has their only office in Latin America here in Lima, Peru. In fact, just one block away from where I am sitting right now.
Wow.
And I was hired to become an organic inspector. And a couple of weeks later, they asked me if I had friends with a profile similar to mine, which is you had to be an agronomist, you had to speak good English, and you have to have the availability to travel all through Latin America. So I got a few CVs from my friends from college, and Janos and Diego were hired. Janos was hired a couple of weeks after me, and Diego was hired like a month or so after that. Mm-hmm. And then we spent a couple of years traveling all through Latin America, inspecting and auditing farming operations of all sizes and types, from the smallest coffee co-op in the jungle of Peru to quinoa co-ops in the highlands, in the Andes highlands, to sesame growers in Paraguay, and meat producers in Uruguay, all the way to mid-sized fruit companies in the Dominican Republic, and even all the way to large multinational companies like Dole. So wow. we were inspecting Dole farms in Ecuador and Central America. But a couple of years after doing that, we wanted to be more connected to the soil, to the farm itself, to producing. As agronomists, but we had no land, and we had no money to buy land. And on the other hand, small-scale growers are all over Peru. There are thousands, even millions of small-scale growers in our country. So that is when we decided to apply and adjust what we have seen in our travels, in our trips, and made this model of working with small-scale growers. So what we do is we teach them, we oversee their compliance with standards and regulations, we get them certified, and then we buy the products, we pack them, and we export. And lately, for the last 3 years now, we also import. We also have an American company of our own and a Dutch company. So we also import and distribute our products in the US and Europe. So yeah, and then we got into ginger,
right?
And we started with ginger, and that story it's very long, but it's very nice.
Well, and you guys are the very first people to import organic ginger into the United States from Peru.
Yeah, it is. We are, yes. So the story is that we had this idea that we wanted to be connected with farmers, and we wanted to export product, and we wanted to be in the organic produce and all that stuff. And we were trying to do many different things. We thought that a couple of years meeting all the people in the industry, in the organic industry, was enough to start selling product. And that wasn't right. So we had a company name, we had all the legal paperwork, we had an address, but we had nothing. We had just ideas. And we invited the guy who was the CEO of the local office of the certifier, or it was the boss of our boss. So it was 3 levels up, but the guy who is a very good guy. He became kind of our mentor. He's a very good friend.
Sure.
And he came to see us, and he gave us a few pieces of advice, very good advice. But then he said, "Hey guys, I know the largest organic ginger importer in the world. And I have tried to put together somebody to ship organic ginger from Peru to this guy, and everybody who's tried has failed. I cannot get involved because I am a certifier. But I think you're 3 smart guys. could do it. Would you like me
Right.
to introduce you to my friend? I would say, yes, of course, obviously. So we started emailing with this guy, and he was kind of teaching us everything we needed to know about ginger by email. So we said, okay, ginger is a tropical root. We know we eat it here in Peru. Chinese food is very popular, so it must be grown in the jungle. So let's go to the jungle and see where we can find ginger. So
Right.
we went to the jungle of Peru. We found ginger. It was almost wild. It was absolutely wild, growing in the woods. And so we said, we can get this certified organic very, very easy. So we started a little project, very, very little project. We built extremely little infrastructure to pack and process ginger. We got 5 growers certified. We started shipping. This guy was teaching us. So we shipped first shipment 180 boxes, 30-pound boxes by air, and not arrived in the best condition. He said the hands are too little, too many cats, too immature. You have to fix this and that and that. We made corrections. We shipped another small shipment and then another one. And after the 4th one, he said, "You're ready for an ocean container." And he sent the guy. We needed to upgrade the facility.
Sure.
Which was that facility. So a guy came, and when we did everything for the first container, 500 boxes, we needed to set the temperature for the reefer container. And I asked the guy which temperature, and he said, 7 degrees Celsius. And we shipped. And it arrived with quality issues. It turns out ginger is a tropical root, and it is affected by chilling injury. And
Right.
7 degrees Celsius was too low.
Sure.
So the guy said, "Hey, your product is bad." And everything, our entire life was in those 500
container.
bucks. Our savings, our everything. So if that doesn't work, we are done. Company closed. And so I called my dad and said, "Dad, I have this problem." And he said, "Well, you get into a plane and you go to the US and you meet your customer and you solve your problem." And I said, "Dad, I have no money even to put gasoline on my car. I have money for nothing. How am I going to go to the States?" And my dad said, "Well, you want to be a businessman? Businesses work with money. So you go out there and get funds to fund your company and start doing business. Otherwise, shut it down and get a job." So my mother-in-law was working at American Airlines here in Peru.
Boom.
She still works there. And at the time, she was my girlfriend, not my wife. She's my wife now. And I got these tickets that are called standby tickets. Right. You can get into a plane only if there is some room available.
Open seat, right? Sure.
Yeah, exactly. Very, very cheap ticket. And I got into a plane. I went to the US, and it turned out that the largest importer in the world was a retired guy, 70 years old, living in Punta Gorda, Florida, and he was operating out of a garage, and his cooler was a room smaller than the room where I am sitting right now, and his cooling equipment was a home air conditioner. and that guy was the largest importer in the world. So I said, "Okay, we are done here." And we were already done some numbers. We ran numbers, right. and we know either we sell 500 boxes of ginger per month, or we close the company. And he said, "No, that's piece of cake. I'm gonna buy you much more than that." So I came back to Peru, and he was buying like 500 boxes every 8 to 10 weeks. And we were just bleeding. We were going to close the company. And we got accepted in a program from the Swiss government, the Swiss Import Promotion Program. And that is a program that helps small companies to export into Europe. So fast forward, we got a booth at BioFac in Germany, the largest organic trade show in the world. And then we learned very quickly that we needed to diversify. So we came back from Germany and we started replicating our small-scale grower system of ginger in other products, and the rest is history. And then we met Rick Lejeune, and we started shipping to the US to the real guy in ginger.
Right.
But by the way, this guy in Punta Gorda, we kept shipping him ginger for many, many years. We owe him a lot.
So, it's such a great story, because not only do you bring up your dad and the reality of what a parent says to a child, right? It's like, okay, what are you going to do? Right. It's time. So you got that going for you, and you were backed into a corner. And what I love about your story is that when you think about startups, you think about brands that are some of them just get pushed to the wall, and it's just like, how much do you really believe? How much do you think you can do this? Right. You get tested. And I'm thinking, looking at who you are now and what you've become, that lesson to me is probably why you're doing some of the things the way you're doing them today, because you had that feeling in your gut of, oh shit, this is the defining moment. Like, I'm literally screwed at this point if we can't make this work. But you kept pressing forward as opposed to going backwards. Dude, that's inspiring. I love it. And to think that you're the first ones that brought, organic ginger from Peru in the United States is a pretty good accomplishment.
We exported the first ginger ever from Peru. Peru as a country never exported ginger before.
Oh, okay. Now you just taught me something. I thought it was that's even more impressive.
So we created the ginger industry in Peru.
I love that.
Yeah,
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, and at that time when we were about to close the company,
right,
I spent thousands of hours sending emails to I was Googling, hours in Google, and every website I found with the word ginger, I would send a message. And we were just about to shut down the company, and Organically Grown Company got my message. And they sent it to Rick Lejeune at Hit and Lejeune. Right. And Rick sent me an email saying, hey, I got this message from my friends at OGC. I am a ginger importer here in LA, California. I am interested in knowing you. And the greatest relationship ever started there. And we didn't shut the company down.
Well, obviously, you're sitting here talking to me today, and you're working with almost close to 300 farmers now, impacting just a countless amount of lives. What do you guys are probably close to 2,000 acres now that you guys are working with, if not more. I mean, it's just a super impressive story. Plus, you guys are diversified. You're doing turmeric, you're doing your ginger, you got passion fruit, you got star fruit, tamarindo. I mean, you've got some really cool items that are bouncing around. And, you talked about working with Europe and stuff. And I mean, you're a global company now, right? Just not coming into the United States. You're a global company. And in looking and chatting, you're in how many countries now? 15 at least?
We export from Peru to the US, Canada, China, Taiwan, the Netherlands, Spain, France, Germany, Switzerland, Sweden, and the UK. And from the Netherlands, we re-export to other European countries, like Denmark, like Belgium, like Austria, like Italy, from the Netherlands, because we have a company in the Netherlands.
Unbelievable. And all from a standby ticket on American Airlines.
Yes.
I mean, think about that. I mean, because you were facing that wall, right? It's like, how are you can't swim from Lima to Florida. It ain't going to work, right? Yeah. So how are you going to get there? And to have that opportunity, I mean, I'm a big believer in the path that we walk, right? And we don't always know which way the path is going to take us, but if we continue walking forward, we continue to press on, generally, no matter what the roadblock is, that path continues to move forward. And you're a shining example of that. It's such a cool story, dude. Thank you for sharing that. It really is. It's a very cool story.